Mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2. What is this, baby? Let's go. Let's go. All right. Trying to make sure that everything is going. I'm gonna do this live stream here, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. For anybody that's checking in, and one of the things that you want to know before a stream gets too long, I will have timestamps, and this will be available on replay on my channel. It'll be a part of my playlist as well, so don't worry about anything. So right now I'm just gonna make sure that all my levels and stuff like that are good. I'm putting my headphones on, and we'll chat a little bit, and we're gonna see what it is. So I got a pretty interesting live stream today. Let's get those levels right. All right, cool. I can hear myself here. What's going on, people? So live stream, surprise live stream. I'm gonna make sure that I have everything out so that people will know that I'm live streaming and stuff like that. I gotta make sure that everybody knows. Again, I will have the timestamps available as well, but I definitely want to do this live stream instead of just doing, I don't know. I don't want to do a edited video on how to create sounds in TubeSynth. This is going to be really easy, and I think if I just do the timestamps and stuff like that, and allow you guys to ask questions in between it, I'll try to answer questions and stuff like that as far as sound design goes. But TubeSynth is very underrated. I do feel, I do feel that. Let me turn this down a little bit. I do feel that TubeSynth does have some really bad presets, and that kind of sets the precedent for why people don't like TubeSynth. So I'm going to show you how to be able to create your own presets, how it works, and everything that I'm going to show you will translate into the MPC software, which is the free software, the MPC Live, the MPC ONE, and the MPC X and MPC software, because TubeSynth is a stock synth that is a virtual analog synth that only has 4 voices. I did this video and I could have edited it, but it was like an hour long, and I don't know, I'm lazy, and I haven't live streamed in a minute, so I just got to make sure that I do one more thing here, and then I'll be on the way to getting this thing done. Oops, wrong thing here. I'm streaming live. There we go. I'm gonna keep it short and simple, and when the time comes, I get it going. So I'm kind of glad that I got a small number base right now, because it's gonna be a little more than I can handle in terms if it gets like to 100 or something like that. What's going on, 7Cs? What is good with you, brother? Air horn. What is going on, Lionel Thompson? Oh, Thomas. I don't know why I always say Thompson. I am 607. What's good? Unique Poet. What's good? What is going on, RG? KB 420. Joza. I hope I said it right. Stephen Robinson. What's going on? And yeah, and I'm gonna give you some bass here. And by the way, I made this beat using TubeSynth, except for the drums, obviously. Brian McDavid Dunn says, thanks for all the help. My pleasure. Drew, what's going on? What's going on, my brother? Micro Freak, oh yeah, love it. Jose Silva, what is going on? JGW, what is good? Sean Livingston, what is going on? And Dejara, what is going on? And Chase the Connect, what is good? Appreciate you, Stephen Robinson. All right, so we're gonna begin here. It's gonna be really easy for me to get into this here. I don't wanna stay too long and do shout outs and stuff like that, but I will be keeping an eye out on the chat. What we're gonna do here is go into the MPC. I resurrect my MPC ONE for this, because the MPC ONE, it has a screen that is a little less reflective, so it's a little easier, and it's a lot easier for me to navigate through, even though I'm not navigating it right now. but I can't really see I'm sitting down. So let's go ahead and get it cracking here. And we're gonna go ahead and start. So, the first thing you're gonna do, obviously, is start from a new track. So I'm gonna go ahead and access this folder and hit new, and it's gonna give me a new track since I already saved that. So when you start beginning on the MPC and you really want to check out some of the synthesizers, the first thing, which is obvious, what's going on Masada MPC, is just empty project. Gets you into the empty project here. 120 BPM is cool with me. I'm gonna go with the plugin program or the plugin track, and then I have a plugin program. So let's hear what we got here. Give it some more volume here. If you hear those little pops, it's just my microphone. So I'm working from, and it's important that I tell you that I'm working from the 2.8.1 version of the MPC firmware. It might be a little different for certain people, but where it might be. So now that we have that, on the live, of course, you would have to hold menu and then press this button over here, or this pad, and it will pull up your programs. But on the MPC ONE, you have a dedicated button so you can get into your program. So now you have TubeSynth in front of us. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to lower this a little bit so we can actually see it. So you guys can actually see it and it'll make more sense. Lower this camera. If it'll let me lower it. Oh my gosh, here we go with this mess.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Yeah, that deserves both of those. So that'd be good enough. Should do this in the software too, but I'll probably do that in the software a little later. But I'm gonna get a little closer, and I'm gonna kill this light. Let's see here, we have TubeSynth here. I think I can get a little low. There we go. Now we can start seeing stuff. Okay, I'm gonna move some stuff out the way here. My dog's gonna go ahead and mess with my damn bobbleheads. You know it. Camera centered. Boom. What's going on, Low Cuts? What's going on, Black Ave? Maurice Marks, what's good? All right, so we have TubeSynth pulled up here for those who might have missed out what I just did or anything like that. If you open up a brand new program or whatever, you get these default settings here inside the MPC itself, the OS. And what you would do is just go over here to this track and the plug sign right there, and then you have the plugins. If you have the MPC Live II or the Live, you would have to hold menu and then press pad for program. But on the MPC ONE, which is the entry level MPC, just hit program edit button. That's why I like the one. That's why I haven't got rid of it. But so we have this, and already it's just, you're going to be kind of turned off by how it sounds. And I didn't know why I didn't like that and why it didn't appeal to me, but just go from default into initial. And now you have what you call your standard synthesizer sound. And we'll get into why that sounds like that too as well. So on the default, for some reason, they have like certain things assigned, and it's a little annoying. So you're gonna have to go over here where it says LFO, and then probably have to go into setup too. I think it might be within here, Aftertouch LFO depth. So what you're gonna do here is go to your 4th Q link and just set it all the way down. And we're gonna, set it to 0. So that way it doesn't affect anything. All right, so now that we have that, what I'm gonna do is just lay down a little practice line here. So I'm gonna go back into my main, give me about, I'd say 4 bars maybe. We'll go with that. Hopefully y'all can hear that sound. You know, sometimes it'll be a little crazy. So let's go back into program edit here. Now, the synthesizer is made up, and every synthesizer, by the way, is made up of two different parts here. And that is your oscillator 1, your oscillator 2, and sometimes you'll see something called a sub-oscillator. So what Crafty Akai did was put your Q links so where you can control every parameter. So you have this parameter right here, which will basically give you this. Let me go into here, pad performance and notes. So I can mess with one note at a time here. And it has you with octave. And the reason why you're hearing a little bit more than normal is because I had to go into what you call the mixer, because I'm going to go ahead and access that. Hit your Q link, and you'll see the mixer right here. I know it might be a little bit too bright. Let me see here. Let's get a little less light. Maybe. It's a little bad. There we go. I want this to be as now. Okay, cool. It's a little crooked, but you know, it is what it is. Maybe I might get the light in here. Oop. Should have tried it. Well, cool. All right. So you have a mixer, and you're gonna have to turn that off. You can turn off oscillator 1 and 2. So now we're hearing that. And I'm gonna go in here into let's go into main, pad performance, and let's get a C major, because I'm used to hearing the C. And I had to tune that. All right. Go into first oscillator 1 here. There we go. That's the C. But now, let's go into the Q links here. Oscillator 1 and full. You can control the octave. You can control the shape that you're using right now. This is a sawtooth, but you have a sine, pulse to a triangle. If you go down, you also have, let's go over here to the sawtooth again. You have quad mode, which what quad mode does is it splits up the actual synth voices into different parts. So, but you have to be mindful of something too. And if you haven't worked with synthesizers before, because Tube Synth is a 4-voice synthesizer. So, you know, it has 4 polyphony or whatnot. If you play anything above, like, see here, if you play anything above a certain bar, it's not going to register. So, let's see here. That might be useful. Boom. There we go. You just now you can hear. So, if I was to play CEG on here, that's a 5th. That is a 7th. And if I play a 9th, you see it. You can hear it. It lost a voice. It lost the voice. What's going on, DJ Tyson? Lamb, SoCal, what's going on? 100 Acres, what is good? So, now that we have established some basic stuff that you should know, what you probably won't know is that you can detune. And what detune does is pretty cool. So now you actually have more of a, I would like to say, what is it? drum and bass type super saw. Let's mess with that a little bit. And if you actually play with the detune feature too much, the detune will sound very bad. It'll be detuned. All right, so moving forward here. Now, what's crazy, and I had to go over here to the mixer here. I just realized the craziness I just put myself into just using standalone. But I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna go to oscillator 2. I'm gonna turn it up on my Q links. Make sure that you utilize your Q links as much as humanly possible so you can get that nice little hands-on feeling. But now that I have that, here a little bit, that's cool. Maybe about 100%. Okay, that's fine. So I'm gonna go over here to back to the oscillator. Oscillator 2 is pretty unique because with oscillator 2 you can do some pretty cool stuff. And this is what you can do. So let's go over here and use the second Q link knob and go through the voices here. So I'm gonna go and scroll right with my Q link. You got square, pulse, all the way to the right. But if you go all the way to the left, you got noise. And that is very interesting because that means that you could take oscillator 1, oscillator 2, probably use like maybe 4 voices and create a snare, claps, or whatnot. It just depends on your experience, which I'm gonna teach you some more experience about sound designing in here. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. Let's go over here to a saw. And then you also have sync, which what sync will do, let's go over here to mixer. I'm gonna turn up oscillator 1. We got something very weird and uninteresting in here. And you'll hear it. When I press sync, it syncs everything together. So pretty much the names of, when you have a good synthesizer, the names are like they are suggested. They're not gonna be anything over your head. You know, you just gotta fiddle with it. And what I didn't cover when I went and pressed this Q link is that this top Q link now, because we switched over from this page to this page, it'll be fine. Let's unsync it though. Let's go to fine here. You can hear that the second oscillator is off tune. When I go all the way up here, it's at plus 12. This is at negative 12. Fine is basically semitone, so that's how that works. Give me a second here. Hold on, guys. Whoops, guys, my bad. Yeah, so, all right, let me get back to this. Had to put my mic back on. Dang, maybe I shouldn't have did this live, but
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Anyway, so we was talking about fine tune, and now you got some pretty interesting things, because if we go over here to F envelope, you start hearing another thing. It's reshaping, and that's gonna come in a little later. We're gonna talk about that when we start talking about the actually making sounds. And then you have micro detune too, and that's really cool. And it works in tandem with detune, so you can get some really big voices. Let's go ahead and click that over here. And we're just messing with super saws now. Now, let's go over here back into the mixer. We're gonna turn up the sub oscillator, and we're gonna hear what that does in terms of this. Remember, this is a 4-voice polyphony synth that's inside of the MPC. One that everybody thinks is trash, but I'm gonna show you some crazy stuff. So we have a sub oscillator. The sub oscillator is pretty interesting in itself, because the sub oscillator has a saw to a triangle, pulse. You can hear it. Nah, I think you hear it more if I actually turn down the oscillators here. I'm going to turn down oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. Navigation is key. I know that everybody. Now you can hear it. So, which means you can have some pretty disgusting basses. And for some reason, it actually uses up more voices, which we'll argue about that another day. Another feature I didn't argue about, another feature that I didn't tell y'all guys about is this right here, which is phase, which is on oscillator 2. So I'm gonna go over here to the page here, and I'm gonna go make sure that you use the Q links so you can navigate to it. But you can actually touch it. If you touch a parameter, your Q links will switch over automatically. So if you're into the touchscreen style, then you can do that. But let's go into oscillator 2 here, turn that up. All right. Pop goes the weasel. But we're talking about phase here. So we have phase. We'll go and show you what that is. See, the reason why you can't hear phase is because it has to be more voices so it can actually move the phases. And also at the same time, this actually is like linear phase. So this can be like your FM synthesis inside of this virtual analog, as you can hear. It's a little different than it was when I was messing with it. So let's go ahead and go into here. I'm going to initialize because I'm going to need all of this power here. I'll make sure that, didn't know it was doing that. Okay, whatever. It is camera's acting nuts. But I'm going to go in here and default. This is that horrible sound. Then go back down here to initialize. Now let's move on to another thing. So we have filters too as well in here, as I already been on the mixer and filter section. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you the filters. So you have a low pass filter. There's no high pass filter, but that's cool because you can still use an effect on your bus. You can use the effect on the program or the effect on the track, so you can use a high pass filter. And I highly recommend that for this reason. So you can hear the low pass filter in itself here. I'm just using it turned down. And you know, you have your cutoff, resonance. It's meh. It's meh to me because I've played with a lot of synthesizers, a lot of plugins and all that. It's okay, you know, in my opinion. Now, I'm not reviewing it, but you know, it is what it is. But it gets a little better if you use the drive. The drive is the, what is it? Drive is the fourth knob. And if I was to, and yes, you can. If you're wondering, you're new. Yes, you can automate it. Oops. I think I fucked it up. Well, never mind. Maybe you can. Oh. I wouldn't be surprised. But, so yeah. Well, you don't have to automate it that way. I'm going to show you another way, which is a normal way. You have oscillator 2, the EQ, and all that stuff. It's cool. I don't necessarily use it that often for shaping a sound, but I will allow you to hear it. Drive. And, you know, key tracking. What key tracking means is that it will harmonically distribute all of those properties evenly between different keys. So that's what key tracking means. When you ever see that, especially on like filters and stuff like that, like if I was to do that with the low pass filter here, it's already cranked to 100, but if I was to turn it down and a subtle effect. You also have saturation, of course, you know, if you want to do saturation. Slopes and stuff like that. Let's move a little forward here. Envelopes. Okay, now more interesting stuff when it comes to the envelopes and stuff like that. I didn't want to focus on that. What's going on, Carlos? RG, what's good? I see you. And I had no touch screen. Of course, you would answer that question. Ask that question. No, there's no touch screen on that or anything like that. But anyways, so going on into here, this is a really important part because envelopes allow you to shape, which is right here. It's the second dot on the Q link. Let's go with the first one is filter envelope. So filter envelope allows you to apply attack K, decay, sustain, release to the filter. So that means, in a nutshell, if you have the attack coming in slow, that means that filter will come in slow. So you have the cutoff here. So I'm just making sure that everything is okay. You can hear it. And it is a re-trigger of that sound. So you can get kind of some funky, funky sounds and stuff like that. Let's go a little lower in octave here. I need a little bit less attack. But yeah, you can get more of kind of like the Moog type basses and stuff like that with your filter envelope. And if I was to go over here to like amplitude envelope, it controls the volume. All right, it controls the volume of tube synth. So that means if I was to add more attack, that attack will be slower. It will rise the sound. So right now, this is what we got. We got that. So now, if I was to go all the way up to the attack of the amplitude envelope, it will come in slower like a pad. In hindsight of that, if I had more attack and I had a little bit more decay, but I had no sustain, we have a pluck. Let's add a little bit more decay. Let's go back up here to filter here. Let's go back over here to the amplitude envelope. Let's go with the release. Mess with the decay. So that's more of a pluckier sound, even though it doesn't sound too plucky because of all the crazy stuff that I've done already. Let's go over here. I'm going to mess with the cutoff of the low pass filter, so that way we can distinguish the pluck. Let's go over your filter envelope here. There we go. That's cool. Now, what I want to show you over here, stop doing that. Stop doing that. What I want to show you over here in the amplitude envelope is that, there are more things that you could do. Of course, if you have the sustain all the way up, that's just going to basically just be a longer sound. So that's what that means. So, play with the envelopes. And that's actually how compression works too, in a nutshell. Because if you look on a compressor, you always see the attack release. So if you have a faster attack, that means that the compression comes in faster. I don't want to confuse you or anything with the amplitude envelope, but that's actually how I learned how to use compressors and stuff like that. You do have an envelope 3, and this envelope 3 is very, very unique. So unique that I'm just going to show you. You have a start level, start time, slope hold, slope release, and you got to pick a destination. So the next thing I'm going to do is put in a destination. I'm going to put in into, not ring level, but I put it into pitch. You can do some weird shit. If you put in oscillator 2 shape, that means that it will change the shape. You know what I'm saying? It's like it will change the shape of the second oscillator. So the second oscillator, we'll go and visit that. The different sounds that you have is the square, pulse, sawtooth, and noise. So if you was to start off on like noise, you know, you can start changing some of the timbre of that. Now, LFOs, what it is on LFOs. So this is like the bonus moment right here. LFOs, we're in modulation. We actually been in modulation since the envelopes, because envelope 3 is the first type of modulation that you're gonna encounter. But now that we're in LFOs, we're into the nitty-gritty of like every synthesizer. So LFO 1, we have 2 LFOs, and you have what you call a shape, and then you also have a destination, and then you also have rate, or in Hertz mode, and then you have sync mode, which will give you time signatures. So what's important about the LFO section is this. I'm gonna go to, make sure that you go to page 1. I know it's a little hard to see it over here. Matter of fact, I think I can flip, maybe just a little bit. A little ugly. Yeah, I know. All right. There we go. A little bit more light than needed. All right, so LFO area, you have shapes, you have sine, you have sine. Let's go into here. Sine, squares, saw up, saw down, pump, sample and hold, and drift. So, you know, if I was just to use this sine wave or whatnot, and I see the destination is in pitch. So if I was to do this right here and hit the Q link and add depth to it, what it's gonna do to that sound is it's gonna make it waver kind of weird. But what this is basically telling you is that it's gonna make that sound more analog, because if you listen to an analog synth, the analog synth is not gonna stay perfectly in tune due to voltage, due to the amount of voltage that is dedicated to it. You know what I'm saying? David says Ham is actually a professor right now. It's typical to love Air products. I don't know. I like a span. That's what I hope Akai does next. They slap a span inside of the MPC software. Where's my laugh at? Where is it? All right, enough screwing around. So again, what we was talking about is LFOs. We have a shape here with the sine. The destination is in pitch, and what it's telling you is basically is if you add more depth to it, it's gonna add that sine wave to the pitch, so it's gonna move, modulate. So modulation is movement, and you're gonna hear that. So I'm gonna start it off with the depth at 0 and add it in. You can hear it. But of course, that sounds ugly. That sounds ugly as hell. So we're gonna mess with that depth and just add it subtly. About 7 or 6 will do. Matter of fact, let's go into initial here. Initial, oops, I'm gonna go initial, default. I don't know why you have to do that every time, but whatever. Boom. Now we got everything set back to normal here. I'm gonna go into setup over here and make sure that the aftertouch is off. Let's go into aftertouch, turn that depth. Oh, no, off, like 0%. Boom. Okay, cool. Now let's go back into LFO here. Let's repeat what we did. The pitch and stuff is already set. So we're gonna go into depth. So a lot of your old school funky stuff that you hear from Funkadelic and And even from your mans and them, Jay Dilla, and a lot of hip hop producers that like the Moog type vibe, that's pretty much where that's coming from, is that, you know, Moog synthesizers are voltage controlled. You know what I'm saying? They're analog. And what makes that analog so special is the fact that it does not stay in perfect pitch all the time. Not like how a digital synth is. And in the digital world, since this is a digital synthesizer, you can emulate that with the def, putting this like a different LFO shape into your pitch, okay? And it gives that funky feel to it. And you can also, since we're in LFO and you have this parameter called fade, and you can introduce it slowly. So it will fade in. It's a little too slow. So it can actually sound more natural. And then you also have sync. I can turn sync on, and it's gonna just sound ugly because I'm not in Hertz mode, I'm in rate. And so what I'm gonna do here to better benefit rate is I'm gonna go over here to LFO 1 and turn it on pan. And this is one of the things that when I was listening to another standalone device, what the presets were doing very well is it was making good of the stereo panning. And I don't know, hopefully my stuff is set up correctly so you can hear this effect. It might not be. All right, let's go into depth. Well, theoretically, because I can't hear it, because my, okay, no, make sure that I'm not, yeah. For some reason, my Arturia audio fuse has a weird thing about when you plug up analog gear. I don't know. I don't know. I'm a little sad about that. But anyway, so theoretically, the panning will go into left and right, you know, because, you know, you're going to go from center to left, center to right, and more depth that you add inside of that when you have it into your destination, because the shape is the source and the destination is pan. So let's just go ahead and try something else here. I'm gonna see if I can use, I'll use the filter. The filter is actually a pretty good idea for this. So what I have to do essentially is just go back over here to your filters, or I'm gonna go over here to my filters, mess with the cutoff here, and turn it all the way to like maybe like 36. Now we got future-based stuff. And you know, if you want to add more depth, make sure you go to your LFO 1. Make sure you go into the correct LFO. You can add more depth. Let's add less fade in there so it's immediate. Go over here, mess with the rate. And that's the next thing. Like, rate is over here. Now, rate, of course, we're in time signature. So the more I go up, what is it going to do? It's going to be faster. The more I go down, slower it will be. And of course, you have your dotted, your triplets, your 1/16, all that, your time signatures that you will normally have will be there. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's cute. How cute, Akai. I wish it would display like that. So you see that? That's a little bit more, whatever. Anyway, so, and that's pretty much the same thing that you get with LFO 1 is what comes over here to LFO 2. One thing I have noticed though, I don't know why Air Music Technology chose to do this, but in LFO 2, you have different destinations that you get. So if I was to go over here, it says oscillator shape, oscillator pitch, so I can actually mess with a whole goddamn a lot with this. So let's go ahead and mess with oscillator 2, and I'm gonna turn off sync here, turn on rate, add more depth, and let's hear it. Let's go to oscillator. Hopefully I'm not going too fast for you guys. And So I already got like some crazy house beat and stuff. I like Hybrid 3 for about a minute. Yeah, Hybrid 3 is pretty good. Nerd Vision is the don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. DJ, I want to say DJ Zy1. What's going on, brother? Jay, yeah, this is the MPC ONE. Absolutely. Let's see. I'm just making sure. All right, cool. So, ooh. Oh, okay, so now there is other modulation in here while I'm at it, and I kind of discovered something because sometimes I'm a little silly. So tied between LFO 1 and LFO 2, you have other sources too, like filter envelope and stuff like that. Let me go ahead and you have amp envelope. You can tie that into there. Oscillator 1, modulation source. You also have a destination. You can choose to route it to pitch or your quad detune. And then you can just add more def into it. Going over here. Let's go ahead and mess with the def here. I'm just showing you, look. All right, so now we can go into another screen. This is a lot to take in, and let me see what I'm doing on time. 41, okay, I'm not bad, not bad. Controller destinations. So you have different destinations and stuff like that you could do that is based on whatever you have routed in here. So right now, we have velocity 1, velocity 2, mod wheel, and we also have aftertouch. So if you have like a controller plugged up into there, you can control the synth and different parameters here. So if I was to do that on my keyboard, and let me go ahead and assign that first. The mod wheel, I can do def, just dial in some def, and I can control it with my mod wheel. You can't see it, but I'm on my mod wheel. Just trust me on that. Just trust the process. But I'm controlling the mod wheel. You also can control velocity. I can control amplitude, but I can also control like cutoff and have like the cutoff control. Let me go ahead and turn full level off. I apologize for my mic popping. But hey, when I hit real hard, you can hear that. Let's go back a page here, and I'm going to turn off something. I'm going to turn off the depth filter. We don't need any of that those wobbly vibes in here. So I mean, it's quite it's quite a competent synth to get the sounds that you need. It's just that the sounds weren't not all the sounds that you would like would be in the presets, and it's kind of makes sense being the MPC in itself because you want to build all the way up. So yeah, now that we have that, we messed and played with that. I'm going to go over here to def. I'm going to turn def down. I'm just going to turn all this stuff down because I don't really need it for right now. Just wanted to show it off and go over here into setup. Go in the Q link here. You can see where you can choose the amount of polyphony that you want. You can limit it to legato. So if I turn to legato, that means there's going to be one synth voice being played. And it gets useful too because once I turn it into legato mode, I can mess with glide, and I can turn up the glide into seconds or milliseconds, and detune, which is ultimately controlled by other things too, like doubling. So if you want to make some pretty cool, some pretty cool leads, you can. All right, so you can do glide all too, and glide all is actually pretty dope. Obviously, more Kaytranada type vibes you'll get from that. Let's turn that doubling off though. Let's go over here and let's go over here into oscillator 1. Let's go ahead and, because Kaytranada uses what? He uses a lot of square and pulse sounds in his bops, in his house bops. Turn that down a little bit. And let's go over here, back over. Now I'm going a little faster now that you've seen most of the stuff already. I do apologize if I'm going way too fast and you just jumped in here. Let's raise that up and transpose. There we go. So now we have more Kaytranada stuff now that you could do. And Kaytranada, for you guys that don't know, is like probably one of my favorite modern day house producers. Like he's dope as hell, man. But anyways, so we covered that. We covered envelopes. We covered that. We covered setup. And then of course in setup, last but not least is your output. So surprise, surprise, what output does. If I go down here to the third, Q link level, it gets loud. And this is actually pretty cool because you can get more saturation this way too as well. You can change the shape. You can add width, take away stereo width. It wouldn't matter for me because I can't hear stereo width. Dang it. And y'all can't hear stereo width if I can't hear it. But that's the way I have it plugged. I need to find out why is it that it does that. Because when I do, God dang it. I know there's something I did in settings a while ago. All right, so moving forward to the more sexier stuff, I guess. And now you start to see other things like your different stuff, your different effects. We're talking about effects here, okay? Okay, we're doing it live.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
All right, so your first effect that you will have control of is your chorus effect. And you can turn it on by doing that. And let's hear it. So are we actually hearing it? No. So why can I not hear it? I don't know why. Well, it has a lot to do with the knob over here in your second Q link, which is mix. Or you can just hit the mix knob and there you go, you have it. And now you're starting to really hear kind of, you know, your different types of sound design that you could do inside a tube synth. Like y'all tripping. Y'all boys tripping. Tube synth is tough. What's going on, Big Will Beast? Mo, what's good? RG, I think I said what's up to you. And what's up to everybody in the chat. So now that we have that, we're in chorus. I mean, everybody knows what chorus is. I mean, do I really have to talk about it? And by the way, you can't rearrange your effects in here. You would just have to do that again on your main screen, and you know, you would add your effects in eyeball work. Okay, you would do that in here and do your inserts. And yeah, okay. So just so you know, program edit. Okay, so we're back into here. You can change everything, of course. You know, it's not really that deep. But yeah, you can start changing stuff in here. Chorus is okay. I don't necessarily. It's I'm gonna take that out here. Now I'm gonna go into delay. Delay, again, really easy to tell what that is. Delay. God dang, I hate it. Anyway, so you have the delay here. Got to turn on. You'll hear it. And this delay is actually pretty complex. A lot going on for it. More so in this feedback knob here. So more feedback, you hear it more, but it gets a little deeper than that. If you do that, you also can choose to sync it or not sync it. You can still hear the. That's crazy. I ain't gonna lie. First time I was like, it's just a delay. But yeah, you have that delay. You can choose the dampening. You can choose resonance. Of course, anything that you're doing with your knobs over here, when you start choosing different things, will retroactively affect how that delay is. Okay, so what if I add less resonance? Hold on. Hear that? Less resonance is going to take away that last resonant effect. Okay, so that's all you really need to know. And then you got a mix knob too, so if you want to add more of the mix. Gotta be careful though. Usually when you do delays, you just have it at 50%, maybe 58%. You don't want to take away from your body of your sound. Third Q link here, ratio, high pass. Again, this is all affecting the way the delay sounds. And then also you have width here. Which would sound better if I had stereo. The MPC has stereo, by the way. It's not the MPC. It's my current setup. The way I have it set up. I chose mono for whatever reason. I think because there's so many things that I do mono and I just split it. Anyways, we have other components here that we're going to talk about, which is reverb. So let's turn on the reverb. Let's turn off delay so we can actually hear it. Reverb here. So you have room. Let's turn it off and let's hear dry. Room is on. More time you add, or the more time you add into here, the longer the reverb. And then you also have, oops, let me go back. Go and choose, you have hall, stadium, and abstract. I'm just gonna speed things up. Let's go and add a little bit more abstract to it. Oops. And if you can have infinite too. Like a freeze. Cool. And mix. Compression. Compression is actually an interesting one. I gotta go into, I'm gonna press shift and grid. Shift and grid. Shift and grid. God dang it, man. Come on, hell no. All right, let's go in here. Let's grab this up here. Let's check out our velocity real quick. You can see our velocity right here. So you're gonna wonder, like, okay, you didn't really do anything to your piano roll. Well, it's because I have compression on. What the compressor is doing right now, because of the ratio at being at 1.51, what it's doing is it's bringing the lower velocity to the highest amount, depending on how much that ratio is. If I was to turn, oops, let's get out of that one. Boom. Turn it back on. If I was to go and add more ratio, I can squish that sound if I wanted to squish that sound. Let's go 2.21, 2 to 1. Okay, there we go. So, but yeah, and of course, remember what I was talking about ADSR, you have attack and release. So if I have fast attack in my release all the way to the left, that means that the release is gonna release real fast and the attack is gonna go in. The compressor is going to kick in real fast. But if I was to go and bring that attack, like, I don't know, slower, you know, the compression won't go in there. But you can also adjust the threshold. These are just rudimentary things that you should know, but you may not know. And then, of course, you have makeup gain and stuff like that. And you can choose how much of that do you want in the mix here. You can parallel your compression, which leaves some of the wet, some of the dry. This last one, this last effect, I have no clue of what it does. I think it's just hyperdimension, which is basically like weird stereo widening. I don't know. That's just my assumption, and I do apologize for not knowing. All I know is it adds a little bit more of higher frequency content, like a little sizzle to it. Not really a fan of that, not at least on the patches. Thank you for that sub, T.Y. Bugs. But yeah, it's a great time to be a music producer, indeed, indeed, indeed. Invisible Culture, what is going on? And Francis, what is going on? Let's see here. Reading the chat here, guys. But yeah, other than that though, you have a lot going on here. I actually showed you how basically you can make different sounds and stuff like that. I mean, the only other thing I could do is just like lay some drums and play with it just to show you what you can do in terms of just tone wise or just one sound. So I'm just gonna go and, since I got a nice, I got the MPC ONE in front of me, which I really do enjoy still. And that's the reason why I haven't sold it. I'm gonna get the TR-909. I really want the 909 drum machine, because why not? I already loaded it in there, cool. Main. So, full. I think it's my microphone doing weird stuff. So, let's record that in there. Of course, it's going to be on time. Oh no. I'll do that all the way over. Forget that. Okay. To track number 1. Let's turn that all the way down to You already know what time it is. I gotta find out. I'm gonna record the claps in here. All right. Why do I have it set on 8 bars? Set it to like 4 bars. It's ready. It's gonna loop around and we're gonna get some claps in here. Oh yeah. Let's clear that. So I let it loop around again. Uh-oh, I messed up. There we go, ready up, bitch. There we go. I didn't fuck up that time. Export. All right. I guess I can't do that yet. All right, let's create a new drum program. I'm gonna name this stuff. All right, now let's go back into menu. Go back into menu real quick. Let's go into the looper, export that to stuff. And pad 1, assign that. Oh no, let's assign to a pad you can see. There we go. Assign to pad 13. And keep. All right. Now the next thing I'm going to do here, of course, is lay it down. And it's doing something weird. I don't know. Maybe. Nope. They just want to do something weird. Okay. Oh yeah, it's house tendo for the rest of the year. I'm so done with trap shit. Trap beats is fucking. I'm tired of trap beats. All right, so now we got something going here. Just show you other things that you could do synthesize-wise. Let's bring that in your performance. So you have something in your performance already. So now I can just go into def. If you want to go into def here, there we go. I'm gonna grab got a track 4. The most important thing you should do is, matter of fact, the most important thing you should do is save your sound, right? So let's go into program edit, and you see where it says initial. Let's give it a name. We're gonna name it something else though. We're gonna name it Cake Tronada. It's not gonna show up on the screen because it's damn MPC. We're gonna save that preset. All right, you can save it anywhere you want. You can save it on your, what I like to do is I like to save my MPC tube synth presets in my, I made a folder for them. Of course, you know, you can make a new folder, you can hit new folder and that will do it. But so you have that. Oh, no, I messed up. But I'm gonna save it in internal. I'm gonna see what it looks like. I'm gonna come up with a file naming system for it anyway. Do it, save it into internal. Let's see if it pulls up into my user. Internal. Yeah, and it pulled up right there. It says it, but you can't see it. Nada. Cool. All right, now let's take this sound a little bit further. On the LFOs here. Here. When you save it in standalone, DJ Tyson asked a good question. When you save it in standalone, does it still say INT like when you load it up? No. What happens is when you go into your preset browser or whatever, and you go into presets and you go into user, it saves it under user, which is, I don't know, it's okay. For me, but I much rather it save into like a browser or one of these right here. I'd rather have the freedom of doing that. But unfortunately, no matter what I've done and tried, even in the MPC Beats and One software, when I was writing my presets, it wouldn't do that. So I wasn't able to save into any directory that I wanted, is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay? Yeah, so, dang, I hate this microphone. So I have... Let's change the tone of that a little bit. Add a sub oscillator. I just want to hear it. Yeah, it sounds pretty nasty. Like, not in a good way. I don't think I talked about ring modulation. What ring modulation does is it takes whatever is in oscillator 1, and per se, if you had a square in here, it takes those little pulses, in theory, it will take the pulse signs and make them inside of the square, if that makes any sense. That's how ring modulation works. It will just ring about. That's a trash explanation of ring modulation. But it sounds like this. So taking it back a little bit, I missed this right here. And what I missed right here was talking about envelope. Now, I get it. So from your LFO, from your mixer and filter page, what envelope does, and you heard it firsthand, if I have it at 0, it won't be that tight. And I was wondering why the filter just didn't feel as snappy as I wanted it. So theoretically, if I have the envelope all the way in, this is how it sounds. So you get some of it in there, but it doesn't affect it. But if you add, like, or you subtract it or go to the left, it gets tighter. So to all the way to the right, when you're messing with the envelope, it makes it loose. That's what she said, eh? Come on, hell no. But oh, this is never getting reposted. Dang it. But so yeah. So low pass filter envelope. If you have it to the left, it makes it tighter, and that makes a lot of sense. So all right, so let's move on a little bit here, because I did want to show you some pretty cool sound design here. Let's go ahead and unmute those tracks so I don't have a fail fish. And what I'm going to do here is go into an initial, or is that? I'm just going to go ahead and just hit the plus sign, just play it safe, because it's already on initial here. And I'm going to go into initial preset. That's what you should always do, initial preset here. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit program edit for the MPC Live heads. You're going to have to hit menu and hold it and press this pad to go into program edit. Okay? So what I want to show you, because remember I was talking about the noise. Okay, so we have the noise here, and they already pulled up. So what I'm going to do here is go over to my envelope. So I'm going to go to my imp envelope, and I'm going to make sure that I have, go over the imp envelope here. I'm going to have no release, because I don't want any release. I want no sustain, a little bit of decay. Okay, it doesn't sound like much here. And that's because there's some other things I need to do. But you can hear the basic idea of what I'm trying to do with this sound. What I'm trying to do with this sound here is this. I'm going to go into oscillator here. I'm going to go and select something more tonal. I might just go ahead and do a triangle. What does that sound like? It doesn't sound like anything. You probably can't hear it. There we go. Sounds like a snare to me, right? So you can actually make a snare with this synthesizer, and that's how I usually test out my synthesizer sounds. And I can actually improve that by actually putting some release on here. So let's go. No. Let's go. I'm just going to use the Q link like I'm supposed to. And just of course, the next thing you're gonna do is go into your filters. We're gonna turn all the way up on this baby. We're gonna go over here to oscillator 2 gain. Because all this is gonna matter. I'm gonna mess with the cutoff, resonance. And I want now we can mess with something else here. Slope, saturation. Now we got a snappier snare here. I'm kind of tempted to do this. Whatever. Let's see. let's go back over here to the envelope 3 and add some modulation. All right, LFO. I don't need any modulation. But what I do need is this. Let's mess with reverb. And we're gonna turn that down a little bit. And we got that. I don't want to put no compression on it. But I do want to make this, oops. I want to make this a little bit, I'm going to use hyper on this to build body. Trying to disagree with me here. Oh, I have noticed something though, because on my live I can do that. And that's crazy. Unless that's just because of this. Let's see. No. Oh, that is crazy. What? Maybe that's an update. I think that might be an update. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, thank you, Brandon Argon, for that sub. I don't have any effect. Woohoo. Let's see. I'm just looking at the chat here, just seeing what's going on. See, me personal drum. Kit, I'll pay you. I'm about to email you. I think he's asking me a question about me checking out some drums. No release. Can we use? Yes, release. You can use the Massive as a plugin on the MPC, but you have to use it through the software. But you also can resample it in there. Thank you, Carlos. Let's see here. Well, yeah, there's a lot that could be done. And that's just Tube Synth. I have plans on showing off the bassline synthesizer, and I could just show you a preview of that. I might just go ahead and I'm gonna say this beat. Let's just go ahead and say this beat. Well, oh, I'm on the one, so I can shift and save. I'm so used to not having that feature. Let's see here. House Tendo. Let me name this beat real quick. House Tendo, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. House Tendo. Tubular. Here go my dog. Tubular, dude. Boom. All right, save it on here. All right, I have the 3,000. I have 3,000 to spin. I thought you said you had the 3,000. I was like, boy, you in the wrong place if you had the MPC 3000. That's Ricky's channel. What are you doing? Hell no. But Virus TI2 Polar. I don't know why everybody's so thrilled about that. Oh, think I have a Live II for a few weeks. Yeah. Let's see here. Hi everyone. Ab, do you all think Sugar Bites Wow is worth 50 bucks? As it is on sale now, and I'm not sure something like it better now as an old plugin. Uh, I mean, I think it's okay. I was playing with it the other day, and I thought it was okay. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was a pretty okay joint. But anyway, so what I want to do here is go and no, I don't need to do that. What I need to do is just hit browse. Damn, I wish it just one thing I like about the Live is that button. I mean, the MPC ONE is just a massive amount of buttons it has. It makes everything a little easier than it is on the Live. I'm lazy. I'm just saying. I'm going to show you a track here. Let's go into MPC Song Projects here. It's one of the drill beats. Drill 101 motivation, loading, project will replace the memory. Do you want to continue? Why would you tell me that? I think I have that warning set in my settings on here. Main. All right, so let's go into here. I'm going to show you something real quick because a lot of people don't get it. The biggest thing about having gear is exploring it. So I have this beat here, and you can hear the regular bass. All right, so you have some pretty useful tools. One of them happens to be bass synth, and when you go into bass synth, it's really, really ignorant. It is really ignorant. It's used on track 2. Oh, well, whatever. I'm gonna go new program. So now that we have this open, it ain't doing a darn thing, which is cool. That's why the way I want it. What you could do right here is you could set up this to be an 808 easily, and it's really simple. This is a simple one. What I did here was from the Q-Link 1 is I set the whatever it was. You can set the different waveform from the square, triangle to sawtooth to a sine wave. I need a sine wave. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn down the sub octave, though that does bring a lot of thud to your 808. And then I'm going to go and mess with my Q-Link over here. I'm going to change the glide time for right now. And now I can go over here to filters. Your filter just takes out certain frequencies that you may not want. Okay? I'm going to go into the 4th dot, which will bring in things like this. So I'm going to take this all the way to the left here from the top Q-Link. Oh yeah. I did forget. I forgot about that because you will have to do this. Oops. I forgot about a step. Oops. No. Go back. Go into grid here. Lower the velocity. I forgot you got to be a little precautious when you are messing with stuff in here. Now I got to highlight everything. I think I could do that from shift. No? Dang, that would be awesome. That would be great. But either way. Still, no, I ain't gonna disrespect. I was gonna say something. Think my okay, whatever. My dog is going banoodles for no reason. I got 4% battery. Boom, take that off. Charge here. I'm gonna have to adjust the endpoints. Well, that's what I'm trying to do here. Adjust the endpoints of everything inside of this. Let's go into here. All right. Adjust the endpoints here. This would be cool. This is a tedious thing to do, but I had to do it for this example here. Boom. There. You can actually hear the idea of where I'm going from here. I'm just going to turn down the transpose 12 here. And you guys really start to hear what I'm trying to do here. Now we'll go into program edit, back into what I was doing here. So you have envelope, and over here you have envelope attack. So obviously I'm making an 808 bass here. Right now it's more sub. So what I'm going to do here is turn it down just a little bit. And I'm going to mess with the amplitude attack. So if you have it all the way to the left, you're going to have more of a sub bass. But if you have it all the way to the right, you have 808 bass. Simple as that. And by the way, this whole entire beat was made with Tube Synth. I was messing with Tube Synth. I was like, I'm going to mess with Tube Synth. We're going to see if it really sucks like everybody says it does. It doesn't really, and I use stock sounds too, except for like 2 sounds. But yeah, you can make your own 808 here, and then I'm going to go over here, and I can set the glide time up here. And it'll be more. Sub-octave. Pitch mod is kind of interesting. Just gives it more of a thud, you know? I'm not really a fan of all that thud, but you know, it's cool. And then you have filter decay. But yeah, you have amp decay too as well. Amp decay is just like attack, sustain, decay, release. So if you have less of that, yeah, and if you have more, then you feel me? Now, next thing, the only other thing that I really care about is this right here, and that's adding distortion. So, you know, I would go to Q-Link number 2 and just turn on, I guess, turn on overdriven, and then I would turn it up. One thing I will say about this particular plugin, bassline, I really wish it had like release. Like, why in the world does it not have a release of any type? No release at all. Envelope retriggering. And why does it have chorus? What? Well, some of these features, because this is bassline, it makes sense that it has it. Like delay on the bass. Like what? Like when? Why would that be cool? I much rather have like some type of release. You feel me? Like that's the only thing. That's the only thing I really don't like about this plugin. Like, no matter how much you dial in amp decay, it doesn't, you know, double as a release. It's all depicted on this factor right here, your grid. Come on, man, your grid. There we go. And since my grid is a hot mess right now for my bass, because I intentionally use the key group, then that's kind of the issue with bassline. Now, I already told the guy that, so I'm not even really sure. I was like, bro, like, come on, man, like, are y'all for real? Like, no ADSR, no amplitude envelope inside a bassline? Why? I was just like, why, bro? Like, that don't make no sense at all. But you can still get like your drill time, like 808s that slide up and down. You just have to be very mindful of how you lay it out on the grid. That's the only thing. And then editing isn't a bitch in here. Unlike other machines. I'm tired of laughing because I'm trying to pull this up. Take it from here. Damn. Can't wait till they why am I saying they? I actually have that junk coming to me. I'm gonna be really pissed trying to edit MIDI on there. Oh my god, it's gonna be a pain. They're gonna be a pain in the butt. What were they thinking? Holy crap. And there are people that work like that. Shots fired. Oh god, yes. Shots. Bro. Yeah. But still, I really like what they're doing. Nonetheless, I'm trying to keep it out the stream or whatever, but I'm just trying to see what's going on. You get your VR goggles that have MPC ONE. Still your favorite? Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it be? The main reason why I like the MPC ONE is quite obvious. Get your ass up here. Oh my gosh, I had to, woo. Boy, the struggle is real. Okay, there you go. Oof. I'm gonna have to really set this up. I don't know if I can do this in the middle of a stream. But the reason why I like the MPC ONE is simple. I like the MPC ONE because it's cheap, good price. You could do a lot of your production on there. I like the ecosystem. I like sampling. And everybody's gonna be able to afford it, baby. I'm being an ultimate troll right now. Get your ass up there. Don't you start that. Oh no. I did too much. Oh, I think I just need that much hang time. Oh, I really effed this up. I think. Might be alright. Oh yeah. Yeah, I messed it up. Just a little bit. There we go. It shouldn't fall. Please don't fall. But yeah. Tyson is too toxic. MPC Live II better. Av, stop it, Av. The MPC Live II. Yeah, if you like bigger pads, the portability, the speaker, the fact that you can add external hard drive, all that stuff, yeah, then the MPC Live II might fit your full workflow. But if you like more buttons and you don't have the 1190, was it 1199? Well, guess what? There you go. You could still get an MPC and still be in standalone, still use it with the software and all that stuff. So yeah, to each his own. And it looks better. The Live II looks better because it has the speaker on there. I can't stand that original MPC Live. Oh my God, it looks so ugly. Every single time I see somebody with the original MPC Live, I'm like, man, how do you do that? Like, how did you did that? Like, for real. That's the way I look at when people do that, man. But if y'all have any questions or anything like that, feel free to shoot, and then I'll answer them or whatnot. Let me go ahead and get to one. They look the same to me. The MPC ONE and Live look the same to you? What? Absolutely not. The pads on the One are smaller. I was about to say for whatever reason, ergonomically, it makes sense for those pads to be smaller. I mean, that's what it is. I gotta restore the feelings and stop it. Don't you ever quote Jigga in your life, ever, ever, ever. Anyone excited for the Behringer sampler? If that is even a thing, like, you know, they don't have any plans on coming out with it this year. Give me a Push 3 standalone. You'll never see me again. The Kai Force. I mean, that's an obvious one. I mean, the Kai Force. No, you know, a Kai designed Ableton's the first Push. And whoever donated to the chat, I do apologize for missing it, but thank you so much.
I'm broke, nigga. I'm broke.
MPC ONE half the money and has way more features to fuck.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, again, if we're referring to the other standalone unit, the forbidden one. Forbidden, but I'm gonna do a review on it. I don't understand what their logic between that. And the more that people talk about, like, oh man, you're tripping, like, it's worth it. I'm like, dude, like, how? Like, tell me how it's worth it, other than the fact that, you know, everybody, oh my God, every single time I talk about something like this, the views goes up. It's like somebody retweets it, oh, I'm about to get spicy. But yeah, the only thing I feel like, as far as that really knocks that, is the price point for the most part. There's other things too, but I'm not going to talk about it until my review, until people actually can understand. But price point is not correct. We're talking about everything spec wise. We're talking about iPad specs, iPad Pro 11 specs. So we're already talking $859. I think that's what the iPad Pro 11 costs. The brand new one at that. So actually a worse processor too at that. And that's where I'm tripping. That Intel Atom processor is not as good as the processor inside the iPad. But I will say this, I'm very impressed with what they did with it as far as optimizing it. I have to say. They delivered on their synth engine, and it sounds really good. When I was listening to Stem's YouTube review, I was like, oh my God, this thing sounds so good. Again, but you have to credit the user of that. Now, I mean, I wasn't impressed with what Stemming did in terms of production, but you know, whatever the case may be, he's special to his audience. But nonetheless, it sounds good. But there's other things that I'm not impressed with. How you resample. I got into an argument with somebody on Twitter, and they was talking about all you have to do is resample. Don't worry about the CPU. I'm like, bro, you got to do several steps to resample. When you have to take so many different steps in creating your music, that kind of stunts it. And sometimes, especially when you're a newcomer, this ain't like that particular standalone machine is not for a newcomer whatsoever. Not by price point. So you have to get their other unit that you connect to the computer. And that means that they're going to have, if they have the computer that is suitable for it, they're going to have a better experience. That's if they had a computer that's suitable for it, which can't be a quad-core processor. And that's what they have inside of there. Though, those type of processors running off of Linux, the optimization, all of that has been created and could be done very well on that particular unit. So that is the big plus side that a lot of people don't understand. And then what other people don't understand is that even if the CPU is going crazy like that right now, they got further optimized that. TubeSynth had to be optimized. Bassline had to be optimized, and so forth. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is all brand new. This is a brand new, but it's a step back forward. It's a leap forward because now we're getting compact CPUs inside that have a MIDI controller, pads, and stuff like that. You know, even if you add that up, that doesn't, no. What? Shannon Sharp. No way. No way. But overall, though, you know, if things pan out, I'll be happy because they at least tried, and that's the one thing I really like when companies do things is that they try, and that's why I liked about Akai when they started putting out their standalone devices. It's like, hey man, people harass them, and that's what you got to do, guys. You got to be on that ass. Well, y'all already on their ass. I seen the comments on the walkthrough videos. Y'all got to be on that booty about like them updating that if you purchase that new standalone unit. You got to be on them. Otherwise, they're going to take a long time like they did with the tractor stuff and a long time like they did with their other stuff. And yeah, it's not going to be a good look for you guys. Definitely think there should have been a battery inside of there. So I saw that comment earlier. How many audio tracks can the forbidden standalone device handle in standalone? That is a good question. That's what I was trying to figure out. But from what I seen, Mr. Summers, and this is what I was impressed with. This is what I was impressed with when you are laying out that timeline. Oh my God, that timeline was dope. I love song mode. Nonetheless, I like song mode, and I can whip it up with the best of them, especially with sequences and stuff like that, with my understanding. But if we're talking about scenes and patterns and all that, I'm translating what I know from my baby over here, into that theoretical machine that I'm not mentioning the name of right now. Yeah, but that timeline that they have, because you can press the song button and whoop, and you can just, it's a linear timeline, you can see it and all that stuff. That's what everybody wants, to be honest, to be fair. And you know, the Akai Force is yet to get that. You can't arrange your beats on the Akai Force yet, though it's gonna come. It's gonna come, I promise you. But yeah, I'm impressed. But other things I'm not impressed with, and he showed, Stimming showed in his review, and the volume. Oh no, it wasn't Stimming. It was somebody else. I can't remember his name. I do apologize to that guy. But yeah, he tried to play a synthesizer inside of there. He had the volume all the way up in record, and it was coming low as well. The volume was low. Yeah, I've been looking at the beta for the Akai Force. I already know what the biz is, why it's taking so long, and trust me, it'll be well worth it. It'll be well worth it. Can I send you the arranger for the Akai Force? Hit my email, Av. I can send you the arranger. Okay. Well, shoot. Hit me with the email. Hit up my contacts in the description. just hit me a message and I will reply back. That's what's up. But yeah, there's things coming, you know what I'm saying? But there's the pressure is on, that's for sure. It's not like you know, $1,400. You know, it's got potential. I can feel the potential of it. And yeah, even with all of the bad that it has, especially with the price and certain other features not being there, I can feel it. I can feel it, man. Because the biggest thing is right here. The biggest selling point with a lot of people is, yeah, the sounds, man. The sounds are ready to go. And it's like, wow. It's like, wow, you know, I could totally I could get it. I get it, because a lot of people are preset heads. Not a lot of people are build shape of sound from the ground up and continue to make something that is something. You know what I mean? And that's very important in electronic music, by the way, is that you learn how to build your sound all the way from the ground up instead of just relying on specific things, because that means that you can do it anywhere, everywhere, and it won't be an issue when you do live performances or whatever. Don't do it, Av. I think he think I was gonna pick my nose. No, when I do this right here, it's a twitch. I've been doing this nervous twitch since I was a kid. Like anything I do, when I used to play basketball, people were like, man, what? Like it used to freak people out because when I would twitch and act like I'm gonna steal the ball or something like that, or act like I'm about to move, I would almost tell myself because I would do something like that with my nose. And people that were really good at picking up people's behaviors, psychological behaviors, I was like, how do you know I was gonna do that? And then my coach would say, he's like, bro, would you stop touching your face? So I end up being like one of these people right here that would just kind of just like be tight and try not to touch like my face and have these twitches. But I'm not picking my nose, man. I'm like very subconscious of my looks, so I clean up a lot per se. Wait a minute. You high right now, F? Don't blink if I'm right. No. Let me see here. I don't think they stepped on them. It's two different pieces of equipment, different functions. Absolutely. Yes, it's definitely different. Like, it's different things. It's different things. Like I feel like, you know, if you have both pieces of equipment, like if you was an NI head, fuck it, this go. Let's just do it. If you was an NI head and, you know, use the NI head for forever, yeah, absolutely. Like it appeals to you. I think so. But you know, if you're an MPC head and, you know, you trying to explore the other side or something like that, I don't think you're missing out on anything. I'm not gonna be counterproductive or be like that type of person to disrespect it. But yeah, I don't think you're missing out on anything like that. Just to be quite frank, I don't think you're missing out on it. Isn't this like I seen people say, yeah, well, you know, I like this and blah 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 for everybody's like, you know, fanboying. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to stay as neutral as humanly possible because you know, if I did show some type of bias for it, I think people would look at me a certain kind of way. And I already own the NPCs and stuff like that. But most people don't know that, because some people say, oh, well, yeah, you are a car fanboy. They don't realize that I own a lot of gear and I use a lot of gear. I own a lot of instruments. I play a lot of instruments. You feel me? They forget that. I own a lot of DAWs. I use a lot of DAWs. Tone, got all this thunder stolen. Yeah, we'll see. I had a convo with Uncle Knock about the Plus was going to be overrated. I don't think it's overrated. I just think the price is way too high. It's way too high. But I think they're making their stamp. Like they're just trying to say like, hey, you know, you got the Mark III if you want that at the same price as the MPC. And that's where their market is really messed up. It's like, okay, yeah, whatever. But Courtney Hawk, hey Courtney, says it's not overrated, it's just too expensive. Yes. Then the technology that is inside of it is not $1,400 worthy. I mean, it's worth it for and that's not to knock them for what they're doing, because again, I was talking about the iPad Pro 11 and how it's $899. I'm just gonna say $899. So $900 for the iPad Pro. You got a touch screen on the iPad Pro. You can buy an additional MIDI controller or whatever, $200. So $200, $1,100 right there. You have full function, blah blah blah, same specs, blah blah blah. ARM processor versus the Intel processor. I think 100%. I do believe, to be honest, Courtney, and while you're bringing it up, I think, again, this was good. I will say this because it might as well be said as far as outside of the my review. They could have took it. Oh, thank you for that donation, by the way, DJ Tyson. You're ducking out on what we said about the Polybrute you played. Hold on, relax. I'll talk about Courtney. The thing that is bothersome about it, and they have the ecosystem with this already because Stemming was already talking about it, and he's trying to be negative edge about it. Who gives a shit? Sorry, Stemming. People like presets, so they could have took. They could have charged.
I'm broke, nigga. I'm broke.
You ducking out what we said? Arturia Polybrute double exclamation mark tears of joy loudly crying you played.
Yo, so I'm gonna get to that in a second. I thank you again for that donation. But the thing is that I want to express about what they could have done. They could have charged less and started pushing more of their services. They would have made way more money that way than for putting at $1,400 or whatnot, or $1,399, because essentially what's going to happen is the same thing that happened with the Kai Force. The Kai Force came out for $1,500, though I will say that the Maschine Plus seems a little bit more complete than the Kai Force because it has an arranger view, arranger mode, and I don't know, because for some reason, nobody made a whole entire beat and put it on the SD card and load it up on the computer, blah, 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 and all that stuff. It sounds really good internally. Ooh, it sounds really good. It has its own sound. That's what I like about it. It has its own sound. Whoa. That's what I really like about it. But yeah, they could have sold presets. They could have sold anything, all this other stuff. You could have had to upgrade this system, this, and, whatever. I don't know. Like, that's something, no, I don't even want complete 13. I don't want 320 gigs of sounds that I can't even put on the Maschine Plus because the Maschine Plus comes with a 32 gig hard drive inside of a flash memory. It's insane. They could have made up for it anyways. Taking a loss in whatever, and they're not taking a loss. This is good profit that they're gonna make from this. Trust me. There's going to be people that's going to buy it. There's going to be people that's going to buy it, and they're going to sell it, of course, because they ain't going to be good at making beats and standalone for many reasons. They don't understand how. A lot of people don't understand the allure of standalone anyways, and that's the limitations. But there are limitations for that Maschine Plus that should not be there, that they should have considered. But they are working on it. I just don't want to say anything until my review because I don't want people to be stealing my ideas. I love the feel of the Kai Force. I love the Kai Force, period. I think it's much better than the MPCs, to be honest. Maybe it's because I'm biased because I use Ableton Live, but I do feel that the Kai Force had, it had more capabilities in terms of tones. It had hype synth in there. These are things that they could have did to improve that, but they just didn't, and that doesn't mean that it's not going to improve. That's for sure. That don't mean that. The price makes no sense, especially with no internal battery. Yeah, I heard people say, "Oh, it doesn't need an internal battery. You can really make beats in the forest." And I'm like, bruh, come on, man. Look. Again. If we're gonna compare it, it's more than the iPad Pro 11. Let's compare it to that. Let's talk about that, which has a touchscreen, by the way. And you can make beats on there, and you can use any VST plugins that you want on it, and you can do, what I'm saying? Like it's wide open. It's more open, but it costs less. Even if you add a MIDI controller, and it is rechargeable and it's portable. So yeah, like who was in that meeting? Who was in that board meeting? Like, oh yeah. You should charge $1,400. Yeah, a lot of people's gonna get that. Yeah, You know what? You know that stupid ass dude, Apple Cree, you know he's gonna get it. Because he's gonna want to review it. And that's how we're gonna sucker everybody, because everybody's gonna want to get it after they hear what he does with it. Oh, drunk as fuck. No, I'm not. A shout out to Beatmaker 3, so powerful even compared to the MPCs. Yeah, I like it. You can only the problem, the only thing I didn't like about Beatmaker 3, which I use this for that, is actually I use my iPad as a soundboard in this instance, and I use it for other things too, is taking notes, and it's crazy. But yeah, so the only thing about Beatmaker Pro is that I didn't like is that when you pull up two plugins, you can't use it all the way. I'll compare it to the MC 707, honestly, DJ Tyson says. You always talking about that MC 707. Have you made a beat on your MC 707 yet? No, the MC 707, I hate to say it, is actually a better deal. It's a better deal for what it does, because it has a synth engine and all this stuff, and you can do, like, Roller's been doing standalone for a while, you know what I'm saying, or hardware, goddamn standalone, that buzz term, but they've been doing standalone for a while, so it's like, you can't say it, like, if they're neck and neck with Akai, and Akai got everybody beat as far as sampling. One big thing, though. One big thing, openly admitting it about the Maschine Plus. Got to, fuck it. I said it. I said the devil's name. I said the devil's name on the stream. The one thing I must say this. That time stretch, though. I must say that time stretch was pretty impressive. Pretty darn impressive. Sipping on the Oyas. I got a beat on my MPC 707. I hope so. Goddamn. I'll be making it. If I had the 707, I was close to buying it twice. I would definitely have tons of beats on it. They made it 1400 because people told them we was getting a stimulus check. Yeah. Is the time stretch better than the force? From what I heard, go to Stemming's, hold on. Give me a second, guys. Let me pull up this reference. Pull up this reference here. I'm looking for it right now. Let's see. Oh, hold on. I don't be looking at nothing crazy. I be looking at a lot of comedy stuff and pulling up reference videos and stuff like that, basketball, but you know, never know. It might be something that might be too edgy for somebody. Let's see. Stemming, there we go. Yeah. And then I've been looking at kitten videos. Are y'all really gonna criticize me for looking at kitten videos? I've been taking care of some stray cats, some feral cats, and they're really close to me, and I love them. I ain't gonna lie. I love them like my dog.
On the highest level.
But yeah, this review right here is a really good review. He was the only one that had the balls to say the negative stuff. You know what I'm saying? If you want to see this, 51 minutes. It's a movie, guys. It's a long one, but this guy Stemming he's one of a kind. He's one of a kind. I've seen him cut down some synthesizers, boy. And look at the rest of his pandering. Thanks so much for the great review, Martin. Audio hiccups are, of course, no go. This is a beta version of the software. Stability is our top priority for the update. Will be available on October 1st, the release date. I'm such an asshole. Really nice to see you having so much fun with morphing and micros. I'm gonna finish it. Let me finish it. You can, in fact, set micros per sound per group, and also on the master, which will give you what you're looking for. Why am I reading it like this? Regarding performance while starting. One instance of Monarch shows 20% usage of the CPU. That doesn't mean that opening up 4 instances of Monarch will take 80% CPU. The CPU usage will only go up to a few percentage if you want to use the same instrument. I see they've been on my post. Like, relax. They can do one thing and fix that easily. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it until my review. They're going to be like, oh, this guy, Ad McCree, he actually knows a little bit more than Procedure. I thought he was just a reviewer. I thought he just reviewed stuff and made shitty trap beats. This guy, he actually knows his stuff when it comes to the tech stuff. He actually knows. He knows about processors and how they work and all that. In software and coding. But anyway, but yeah, Native Instruments jumped into the comments. I like riding. I just be trolling because I do. Well, I don't know if they're still there, but I almost left a question. I was like, man, would you send me my goddamn my plus? Because I need my joint. Goddamn, I paid for mine. He didn't pay for his, but nonetheless, though. But long story short, though, he did, he likes it for what it is. He likes it for what it is. But he doesn't. I was just like, some of the things I was like, dude, you could do that with other machines. You know that, right? Parameter locking happens to be the dope thing that I like about this. Lockstep, the locks, it's cool. When you're performing, is it necessary? No. But it's still good to have that when you want to tweak on something and bring it back. I think that's really cool for performances. Do I see a lot of people doing that with their Machine Plus like they didn't do with the Machine Mark III? No, I don't. I see more people trying to sample inside of there, use it as a sampler, probably try to record guitar in there, which is probably not going to end well. But you can do that. You can, just simple basic stuff. And then you could also, they have USB MIDI too as well. And that was something they just had added. They must have just added that. So that's kind of cool as far as that goes. Team Mackay all day, David Washington, Sir Crawford. I just got the MPC ONE. Can't really wait to dig in. Yeah, dig in, brother. Why are you using the gay voice though? That's not my gay voice. A gay person can sound like how I sound. That's one thing I don't think a lot of people understand. Whoa, what was that? I'm losing it, man. First of all, there's some gay people that are very masculine out here. You'd be surprised. They would take your cookies, bruh. And nothing you could do about it. There's some really tough guys out here that are very masculine. You wouldn't even think was gay. Straight up. You're like, whoa, wait a minute, man. Hold up, man, hold up, bruh. Like, you too swole to be trying to come on to me, man. Calm down. So relax. Not everybody's like flamboyant. There's a lot of guys that are just really, or people that are really, they are really soft-spoken and they straight. They're not gay at all. That's just a stereotype. Back up, Terry. More like back up, Terry Crews. Oh my God. No. More like Terry Crews is the one that was saying back up. Oh, man. Oh. That's crazy, too. If you think about Terry Crews and all the roles that he's played, he's always played somebody that was gay. I wouldn't be surprised if he was gay and he's trying to front. What the hell was that? Oh, shit. Yo, I thought that was a... Whoa, I thought that was a lizard. Stop, Av. Yeah. But yeah, he's played a lot of gay roles, so... Damn, man, this is not getting reposted. Well, I'm gonna repost. I'm gonna save it, but you know, what the hell? What the hell? Somebody hating. Yeah, Terry Crews, man, is tripping, man. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Terry's something else, man. I don't know. He be saying stuff. I think he's getting people so pissed at him, man. It's just ridiculous. C-Ray, what's going on? That's random. You just came in here probably. The MPC 1000 is not digital. The MPC 1000 is digital. All MPCs are digital. All of the drum samplers are digital. That is the thing. I guess I could go into just a quick backstory before I bounce. One thing that a lot of people don't understand about standalone units, what were making standalone units great when they was just basically just drum samplers, computers, mind you, because they all have RAM, they have a motherboard. If you open up the original MPC 60, it has a motherboard, and I forgot what motherboard they use. I forgot the RAM, the type of RAM that they use, but a lot of that was theoretically just computer parts altogether with its own individual OS, tore down, and a lot of different things that goes in that are involved with those older machines that, you know, drum samplers or standalone units, you know. But at that particular time, the MPC was a very huge landmark or a very huge accomplishment in technology, music technology, because you can sample a drummer and you can, you know, break down the parts into different pads, and, you know, you had your certain amount of seconds that, you know, at that time felt like forever, and people could create music that way. And, you know, so forth as time went past, technology got better, computers got better, and, you know, we started doing more computer music. So that's why a lot of people are lean towards the computer. But now the computer could do every single thing so freaking well that you end up being distracted more than you do being involved with using something like this right here. And now we're just kind of like, we're kind of downgrading, going backwards, because in 2020 we might as well do something besides be on the internet, because it could be a cesspool of everything. But, you know, just not to teeter-totter from, you know, the standalone thing. A lot of people are into the standalone thing now, since, you know, Akai broke the news in 2017 that they was going back to standalone. You know, when we moved into the computer age, the biggest thing that Native Instruments did that made sense was marry both the controller, the hardware with the software, and they made a controller that had like a OS, much like how the MPCs would be like, you know what I'm saying? And Akai was just making MIDI controllers because nobody really wanted the MPCs anymore, because everybody was migrating over to the computer. And we fast forward again, Akai got, you know, they did their Renaissance. Not really a fan of the Renaissance. I never been a fan of the Renaissance, but I am a fan of how it is displayed, because it's displayed much like how the older MPCs are, if we talk about the OS on the screen, you know, and it had a screen that was adjustable, unlike this thing. Gosh, Kai. But anyway, so, you know, fast forward, you know, you dropped the Live. Well, no, they dropped the MPC Touch, which was a prototype, just like how the Maschine MK3 is a prototype for the Maschine Plus. Who would have saw that coming, right? So, you know, you just move forward here, and, you know, you got the Touch. The Touch had some potential, non-potential. Then they dropped the MPC Live. The MPC Live with its ugly shape. And I'm sorry. Had its ugly shape, but it had a portable battery on there, and they upped the game, and you can use it in standalone and all that. Not perfect at first, by the way, guys. You know, that's one thing, you know, I'm willing to pardon Native Instruments on a lot of the things there, is that it's not going to be perfect out the box. You know what I'm saying? But what does suck is that price point. It is still more expensive than the MPC Live when it initially dropped, and does theoretically the same things as the original MPC Live. But the biggest selling point is the sounds, the Massive and the Monarch and all that stuff. But the thing that people are not understanding is that you don't have full control over massive and all the other stuff. They are synth engines. They're synth engines with four, I'm pretty sure that they're going to be four voices of polyphony just to keep the CPU down so they're massively scaled down. So that means that you're getting less of the experience that you would if you get the MK3. So that is cool by my standards. I gave it ravishing reviews too, by the way, when people are criticizing me for talking about native instruments. I've never had a negative review of their products, though I should probably have one or two, but I haven't ever. Akai, funny enough, I've had plenty of negative reviews, and that's why we got this right here. That is why we got this right here, and it's remarkable glory. You feel me? That is why those things are possible, because companies are able to take criticism and rise from that. Now, they did have a little mess up. The Akai Force is a pretty big mess up, but again, firmware. They have been updating it constantly, just not with what people really want, which is the arranger. Little caveat in what I'm saying, because I know a little bit more than what I'm leading up to. But I will say this, though. You know, it's very good for competition. You really want NI to do well because that forces other companies to do well. That forces Electron to do well. That forces Roland to do well. That forces Korg to do another Electribe and get it right, and then have a stupid price point that matches the MPC ONE. I'm just putting that out there, Korg. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't good. Yeah, it just forces companies to really start to see what the marketplace looks like. And Behringer's already acting on it because they saw how much attention the MPC ONE got. You know? The MPC ONE being a standalone unit at a price point of most hybrid controllers, though I think the ONE is the first of the hybrid controllers that cost, you know, a decent price that everybody can get into. All right, I'm looking at the chat here. The Force is fantastic. Yes, it is. And when they put in that arrangement mode, a lot of people gonna be on there. Maybe it's a hell of a CPU that they got inside of there. No, it's not. It really isn't. It's nothing spectacular about it. Not because Dillard was the first two MPCs, just were classics. The 3000 will be my last piece of gear that I get. I love the 3000. The MPC Studio or ONE, if I'm just getting started. I like the MPC Studio, but it's kind of hard to recommend the MPC Studio because I don't know if it got any updates. You know what I'm saying? The MPC ONE is still being supported. I don't know anything about it, so I can't really pitch anything like that. Why is the MPC 3000 more expensive than the MPC ONE? The reason why the MPC 3000 is more expensive is because it's the last Akai MPC to be made by Roger Lynn. And it's the last MPC, well, the swing is there, but the MPC 3000 swing is something else. And also downsampling on there. And the analog filter algorithm on the MPC 3000. Very, very, very good. Very good. I recommend going to Ricky, I want to say it's Ricky Tines or Ricky Tynes channel and checking him out. And he does a lot of stuff with the 3000 house music, and it's dope. House music all night long. Korg Electribe, something. Make an industrial beat. That was the style of music that I was going to go to next in the early 2011. I was going to start doing more Trent Reznor type production, 9 Inch Nails type production, and that was going to be my next wave because I was tired of. I've been tired of doing trap beats since 2003, 2004. But you know, it is what it is. I'm just reading the chat here. But the 3000, of course, it costs way more because they don't make it anymore. Last MPC made by Roger Lynn, which is the OG creator of the MPC with the collaboration with Akai. came up with all of the bigger ideas before parting ways with Fakai after the 3000. Let's see, I'm just reading the chat here because I'll be missing stuff. The 3000 is an exception to higher value because of Dilla. Nah, that ain't it. Okay, just kind of disclaimer on that. Windows 95 music, MPC 60 looks like a cash register. First glance, yes, it still does look like a cash register. Terry Crews is Team NI. You stupid. Let's see here. I'm about to slide off of here. It's been 2 hours, and I'm just gonna put everything into the timestamps here. Thanks, man. You always teach me a lot. Appreciate you, Christopher Cash. You know, I live for you guys, I guess. Well, I do live for you guys. The Roland MV 8800 was a beast in its day. Why in the hell hasn't Roland followed up on that? I know the MC 707 is pretty much that kind of follow up of that, but the MV 8800 was on the right path. It was on the right path. It was way ahead of its time. You could see everything. It was linear, all that. And it had some really good features on there. I mean, shit, they had the SP404, the SP303, 202. Those are really classic small samplers. I don't know what's going on. I don't get it with Roland. I get it why they're not doing it, because their higher end stuff isn't really, nobody really cares. You know what I'm saying? I like the Phantom series by Roland. I've always been a fan. But if I wouldn't buy the brand new Phantoms, by the way. I wouldn't pay that. I would get the old Phantom XR. Maybe, I think it's the XM or it's the XS. I can't remember. XR. One of those Phantoms. Or I would just get the rack. Because I like those sounds. You know what I'm saying? But before I even get those, I got a Roland JV1080 that's not going anywhere. The new Phantoms can't sample. I wouldn't really buy it for sampling. I would buy it more or less as a sound module, just a way to make sounds and explore the synth engine. But I don't know what the synth engine would be like. That's the thing. That man Ricky is different. Absolutely. Ricky Tinez or Tynes. I don't know how he says it. He never says it. Enrique, anyways. Enrique is very, very. He has a strange talent, and I'm a huge fan of the way that he makes his videos too as well. I really like his cinematography, spot on cinematography. It's a movie. It's a movie, and it makes me mad because I was like, God damn, these damn videos are so damn great quality. Fuck you. I like you. Fuck you. But yeah, he's got very good presentation skills. Really good. I really like it. Makes it fun to watch too. And he's not trying to be extra educated when he does his videos either. He's just talking. Just talking. Having a good old conversation. That's all that matters. Carol Manson. I got a Roland XP30. You sound like my homie, man. My homie had an XP30 back in the day, and he used to love that XP30. He made some dope beats on it. They got the same engine as the JV1080. That ain't going anywhere either. That's interesting. I never knew that. Does the XP30 have 4 layers, though? Because that's the thing about the JV1080 that a lot of people don't explore, is that it has 4 different layers. I will get into it in another video and explore it with you guys, but that's the thing. It has 4 different layers. Matter of fact, Eric Pearson, which makes Omnisphere, pretty much got his idea from the JV1080. Just saying. And the D50, of course, because he made sounds for the Roland D50. I need everyone to stop going 100% digital with their synths. We are good. Oh, sorry. So I've already seen this right here. Well, I haven't watched this. I haven't watched Loop Pop talk for an hour and a half and twist knobs. I'm so disrespectful. Lil Pop is never gonna ever like me at all. He's like, I'm gonna beat your ass. He's gonna be like, pull up. But yeah, this right here, Polybrute. A lot of people, of course, this price point is ridiculous. And I say ridiculous as in it's a lot of money, but I'm not saying it's not worth that money. Because one, it's 6 voices analog. That's huge. That's a huge synthesizer. In comparison to a Moog One with 8 voices, look at that price. Yeah. It only has 2 more voices. Okay, I get it, but definitely that's a lot of money. As you can see, it's double the price. 6 voices here. You got the things that Arturia does very well. Mod Matrix, their sequencer, filter. The way that they lay out their synths is very competent. The only incompetent synth I've ever seen of theirs was probably the Matrix Brute. What the hell was that? Yeah. But yeah, it sounds absolutely brilliant. Nice and fat sound. Massive modulation. Holy crap. From an analog synth, boy, you want to talk about lo-fi. And do you know where lo-fi comes from? You got to understand synthesis, baby. Yeah. You're talking about true lo-fi here. And it has 768, I heard, preset slots. So you actually have presets that you can instant access to 768 preset slots, including patches from the greatest sound designers in the world. I'm pissed at, man, you know, it really makes me mad. It really makes me mad. It really makes me mad. Yeah, I'm heated. But yeah, they have some pretty good stuff here. I mean, nonetheless, it's a remarkable announcement. I'm gonna do a separate video on this because I get feels, and this is the back of the unit. So they got sync in, sync out. You know, their typical layout here. You know, I don't even got to question that. But yeah, this shit is loaded. 3,000. That's a you know, not everybody's gonna be able to get into that, of course, but that's not the point of it. You know, they're gonna be like, man, you better get your ass into a a mini brute. The mini brute is great too. I've over 10,000 presets for Yuhi Hive 2. Holy crap, that's a lot, bro. Is in no denial. Polybrute is a monster. It is a true fact that I can't afford it and want to commit felonies to feed my urge. God damn. He gonna be like this right here.
Surprise, motherfucker.
At somebody's door. But nah, man. There's no denial in that. Evercree, why are you talking? Why? That's why I asked you about it, because I know you just got that Mini Brute 2S. I'll be streaming like a blue crab. What? If Akai ever puts in the work, I'll pick up the Force. Yeah, I mean, by the time you could get a Akai Force for like $600. No cap. You can just go on eBay and get one. But I would wait. I think by the time when they do put that update out, a lot of people are going to scoop it. Av, check out the Sound Diver on the Internet Archive. That joint will let you create patches for your 1080 on your computer. Ooh, what? What? guess not. JV 1080. Did I spell it right? Sound. Oh, sound. It says sound driver. You're a jerk. That Roland JV 1080. It sounds beautiful. It sounds terrible. It's definitely not the same. Let's see here. I don't see it. So I guess nobody really has dove into it. But that did remind me, the Micro Freak has a VST plugin now. I think I saved it under my other history. The brute factor is sick as F2. Yes, it's pretty sick. Grand per voice rip off synths. You crazy, dude. You crazy. You crazy, bruh. That's a deal. For all that, for all of what this does, just because it says 6 voices, dog, you have to understand how voltage works, man. Just one desktop synth, one freaking VCO usually costs $500. That's not including like my matrix, sequencer, all of that other stuff. Then you're gonna have to buy a MIDI keyboard and all that other stuff. They have a key bed, all this stuff here. How many? I think 49 keys is where it's at. I think it's 49 keys. Let's see. One octave, 2 octaves, 3 octaves, 4 octaves, 5. Oh, never mind. It's not 49 keys. I think 61. Yeah, that's pretty big. I'm not a fan of the amount of keys, but they're gonna mess around. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna mess around in. Shut up! Shut up! They're gonna mess around. Good. Okay, cool. They're gonna mess around and make this into a synth. Shut up! Damn it. They're gonna mess around and make this into a big boy synth. Get rid of the key bed. I know it. I know how Arturia works. They're gonna make this. They're gonna put this on the top, put that on the bottom, and that's gonna be a synth of some sorts. Make it 19U rackable. Let's talk about it. Empty the future. Let's talk about that. They need to make it like that. I'm pretty sure they're going to. I just know I know how Arturia likes to get down. And then they have a plugin for it. It looks like too, which is disgusting. Like Arturia does everything right. All right, I'm gonna add my MPC ONE to the cart. You damn right. You can do a lot with 6 voices. Yes, you can do a whole bunch with 6 voices. The Matrix Brute owners are pissed off now. They should just sell it. I mean, the Matrix Brute was only a 2-voice synth, I think. A 2-voice synth, and it's still a good deal too. You know, Arturia doesn't really arguably the most powerful monophonic synthesizer. I know I'm tired if I can't read. 24.99, 2500. I just didn't. I mean, I couldn't appreciate this. It looks very different in the back. It looks like its own synth, you know. But I wouldn't pay that. I just wouldn't. Yeah, it sounds okay. But you know, I got the mini Brute 2S. You know, if you built this synth from components, it would be probably 100 modules and the size of a freaking wall. I'm missing one. For that price, you don't need to buy guitar pedals. You really don't. I think it has like its own effects, maybe. I don't know. I got like 30 guitar pedals, dude. It wouldn't be a big deal to me. It wouldn't be a big deal to me. Matter of fact, I got this from Materia. I got that from Materia. I got that from Materia. You know, Materia was nice enough to throw me an alley-oop on that, but I paid for that, 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 paid for that. I sold it though. I've had a lot of Materia stuff, and then I bought a lot of their plugins. But yeah, Materia is doing a lot. They're doing the most. They're doing the most. DJ Tyson and McCree. Go to Bo Beats video. They had some chiptune ARP sounds too. I'm not going to no Bo Beats video. Sorry. 2,900 is a big boy synth price. It's competing with the Profits. Yeah, I mean, to me, that Materia is ready for that market. I think they can take over their market share because they do so well on the lower end. They can afford to do something like a Polybrute. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will get into it. If you're into big boy synths like that, yeah, you're gonna get it. I'm pretty sure. You probably might trade your profit for it. Matrix Brute owners are pissed now. Yeah, I seen that. Let's see. I'd be pissed if I was a Matrix Brute owner. Definitely glad I didn't pull the plug on that. Nah, I mean, the Matrix Brute is something totally different. I can play 100 Hive synths in a DAW rather than paying $6,000 for just one analog synth. Yeah, but you Skyhawk, you wouldn't know the appreciation of an analog synthesizer until you actually experience it. I just recommend that you go to, if there's a synth store that you can go to that has a like this, go play the Moog One. I played it before. I played the Moog One. Or go to Mike Dean's channel. Go to Mike Dean's channel, Mike Dean's videos, listen to him play the analog synthesizer, and then play your plugin. You'll start to see. You'll start to see what I'm talking about and why that it's priced like that. Wardrop is looking the Wardrop whatever what's it, Iridum is looking right too. Yeah, it looks great. I don't know if I would really cough up the money for that. See, that's the thing. It's like when I get a synthesizer or whatever, it has to be really worth it to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really tripping about the price point of it, but it's got to be really worth it to me. It's got to really hit things that other synthesizers don't hit, and it's just got to be special. Y'all got to be really tripping out off me digging in my armpit. Yeah. Ab, do you like the Deep Mind? I like the Deep. I was gonna buy the Deep Mind rack, the rack version of Deep Mind. The only reason why I didn't buy it is because I realized that the Korg, like my Korg is still good. The Korg MS2000, it's a 4-voice digital synth, which is like helter skelter, but dude, it's still good. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta realize, you gotta know, quit while you're ahead. Like I'm quitting while I'm ahead with this Maschine Plus shit. That's the way I want to rock. But anyways, guys, I am out of here. I'm hungry. I'm hungry, and I appreciate you guys. And I'm going to have the timestamps up available, and I don't know why I'm saying that now on the live stream as if it won't be up. But, yeah, God bless you. I thank y'all.